What up? What's poppin'? Welcome back to I'll Do It Myself. Everybody mad at Cam today. I mean, I'm not necessarily mad at Cam. Only thing I think Cam should have did is he should have put out a Patreon episode or a members only episode instead of putting this directly to his channel. He interviewed the Punisher. Now, if y'all haven't seen the Punisher, y'all don't know who the Punisher is. I'm not talking about Frank Castle from Marvel. We talking about the Punisher, the dude that Diddy was hiring to punish Cassie, right? Pun intended. He looked like a black Uncle Fester. The nigga looked like Popeye Jones. There's a lot of ways he looked. I mean, honestly, he looked like the dude that work at Home Depot that you talk to every day. But this is what he do on the weekends. He and Cam had a conversation. Come to find out, this dude is from Harlem. But him and Cam had a conversation about the whole situation with him, Diddy, Cassie, how he was doing this with them for like a year before he knew who they actually was. That kind of bugs me out. That bugs me out because when I think about the whole Diddy Cassie situation, I mean, if they were in disguises, you probably not going to know it. And it made me think about the movie Eyes Wide Shut when they was having like the freak offs with the Illuminati. If you've never seen that movie, I think it's Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Really, really great movie, but it kind of is the idea what people think freak offs is. And let's talk about freak offs for a second. Now that we finding out about what the freak offs actually is, how many of y'all is actually disappointed? Y'all had y'all overs and unders for how many artists y'all thought was going to be on these tapes. It's not none. It's just him and Cassie wilding out, which I think eventually those tapes is going to come out. I don't think there's no way possible that this whole case goes through what it goes through and them tapes don't come out one way or another, right? But I want to go back to some Cam bars. And if we go back to Cam's bars and you know his history, you know that Cam got a reputation for saying outlandish things. That's just who he is. You know what I mean? That's just who Cam has always been. And like I said, this should have been a Patreon only or members only episode. But let's go back to this freestyle. Some of y'all may remember, and we're going to re-jog y'all memories if not.
Cooped out with Duke, had to scoot out. Now we cooped out, that hurt ooh out. And I won't delay to kick it. F. Will Smith, I run up and Jada Pickett, real stiff. And I had that girl mail me. And when another chick dealt me in high school teacher, the one failed me, bailed me. What the hell you gonna tell me? Dreams can't sell me, just finished the LP. Forget arraignment, bailed by entertainment.
Yeah, man. Yo, Jada Pickett and Will Smith was catching strays back then. Cam, I think that's what made Cam, he had shock value. Go listen to Confessions of Fire and listen to the title track of the album. I think it's at the end of the album. I can't remember exactly what on the track list it is. But Cam has always said crazy stuff. Like the same way people say Eminem used to do, well, Eminem did used to do that, say a lot of crazy shit. Did you believe that he's actually partaking in some of these things that he said? Nah, rap was just rap. But that has now filtered into content. And it's another thing that I want to play from Cam so that y'all can pretty much understand that when you talking to Cam, he might say anything. But listen to these bars right quick off of this DJ Clue freestyle, which is legendary. Oh my God, we gotta get a DJ Clue documentary when it comes to mixtapes. That's a whole nother episode. But let's listen to this freestyle, and Cam says some stuff that's a little.
Got the max stash, and if you want, I let the gas blast that fast. See, it's a hobby, the Cosby's pigs, cause you heard what me and Poppy did. Left him on the road like the Cosby kid. Fuck sentence and we hopped the bid. Run the club, Papa stick, and every last rock is big.
Cause you heard what me and Poppy did, left him on the road like the Cosby kid. So if y'all don't know, Bill Cosby did lose a son back in the day, and he lost his life to a robbery, and he was left on the side of the road. And here's a news clip so that we could watch a little bit so we could understand what Cam was actually talking about when he made them bars on that freestyle.
He has finally spoken publicly about the greatest pain a parent can experience, the death of a child. In an interview with CBS News broadcast today, Cosby talked about the murder of his son, Ennis, who was gunned down on a Los Angeles freeway earlier this month. Cosby emotionally described the family's grief, their anger, and how they buried Ennis in an herb garden at the Cosby home in Massachusetts.
And now that we got all of that out the way, you have a clear understanding of the individual that Cam is. Can't play too much, can't petty. And I mean, if you've been a fan of Cameron and you follow Cameron, then you know that Cameron is going to say something that he feels like saying whenever he wants to say, right? So he talks to the Punisher. Every time I say his name, it's just wild. Like it's wild. But he talks to the Punisher about this whole situation with Diddy and Cassie and what he went through that, and let's watch some of that right quick.
As lubricants, yo. So
what was being done with the Astroglide though? Paul.
I guess he's using it as lubricant to beat off. You know what I'm saying? That was, he's pleasuring himself during the action. So I'm obviously he's using that for lube.
Do you consider Puff a cuckold?
Yeah, I mean the whole time that's what I thought it was.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It's because you keep using the word voyeur. This is cuckold activity.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, we're gonna step it up to cuckold.
Yeah. So I'm saying voyeur because that's what she said to me.
Right.
Like when I came in.
You know why? Because they down. You know why? Because voyeur don't seem as bad as cuckold. So they downplay it with the I'm just a voyeur. Nah, you was an official cuckold, nigga. Because voyeur can mean you watching anybody, not your girl. Cuckold is when your girl is in play. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yo, listen, man. This Diddy shit is out of the like. This is really. It kind of ruins. Let me not say ruin, right? Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Diddy wasn't a person I didn't grow up looking up to. Pause. Nah, but for real though, grew up looking up to Diddy as far as being a music mogul. It wasn't through him that I said I wanted to be in music, but watching him, what he did with Biggie, you know what I mean, the Locks, Mace, went on to do the Making the Band shows, Sean John, Liquor, all of that. Like all of these moments is ruined. Like everything is ruined, bro. I feel like Diddy's career was, you know how people build them card houses, right? They take all that time to build them card houses or use all them decks to stack them cards a certain way, and they build it up really nice, and then a fucking mosquito just flies in. Or a fly just flies in, knocks the whole shit over. You know what I'm saying? Knocks the whole shit over. Now, even with that being said, Diddy was the fly in the own demise of his career. Diddy was the fly. His actions, the shit that he did, was the reason why he's in the situation that he is today, right? But this dude, the Punisher, this not the only person he's done an interview with. He's done stuff with CNN, and he did stuff with the News Network. Let's watch that right quick.
Directing the sex scenes and the sex acts, because as you described, it started off as just a sexy scene, but it progressed into actual sex over the course of the free costs. What kind of direction did you get the sense? Like aggressive, mean, demanding, or just, hey, this is kinky, let's do this?
Not even as I described in the text. They were very subtle. Mr. Combs was always basically across the room, and it would be in a low tone, and it would just be suggestive. It was nothing aggressive, nothing that would create some sort of scenario that this was like unnatural between them. Obviously, a sexual scenario with a couple is not the norm, but it's something that I had heard about before, and there's some couples that get into this, and in hindsight, if there were no accusations, I would have saw it as completely natural.
Which is the Punisher, right? The Punisher. That name is so wild. Ain't that name wild, right? But the Punisher, him saying that if there was no accusations, then he would have, thought too much of it or whatever. But Diddy was into some freaky shit, man. Like he was into some real next level freaky shit. And I think that like now that all of this has come out, because Cassie, and there's a lot of mixed emotions from men and women when it comes to Cassie, right? Now, for me personally, I hate the domestic shit. Like I seen that gash that she got caused on the side of her head. They said she fell and hit a brick. That was horrible, especially the hotel stuff where when she got kicked by him and all of that. All of that was crazy. But like seeing the stuff that's transpiring now, it just makes it like, like hearing it. All right, let's put this into perspective a bit. Like I said, it's a little bit confusing on both sides for men and women, because I see there's a lot of women, right, that have mixed feelings on it. They feel like, like I know girls that's just like that, that's into stuff like that. And she was tight because he started turning up Miami, or he started turning up this chick, or he gave a baby to this chick, and she was going through all of these different things, and she wanted to have a life with him. And then you have the people that only feel like she's only just a victim, right? Then you have the people that's like, listen, she was participating too. And let's keep it 1,000. The evidence, like everybody says, the evidence. A lot of these guys said that a lot of the stuff that happened was because she was calling for it. She wanted to participate. There's text messages where she says, I'm always down to freak off. You know what I'm saying? And then you get the people who are torn on that side that say, well, she was only doing that because she loved him and was in love with him. But you got to think, right? Like, he wasn't doing this with none of the other women that he had children with, to our knowledge. Because just based on our knowledge that we have so far, we don't hear none of this about Kim Porter, Misa, or any of his other baby mothers or whatever, or any of the stuff that he's going through. Like, we don't hear these same things about them. So I think that Diddy, like, he never, you know what I mean, never really looked at Cassidy, excuse me, my fault, Cassidy, you don't deserve that. He never looked at Cassie as a woman he wanted to be with, but a woman he just wanted to have fun with. But there's more, and let's watch what the Punisher got to say about this situation.
Play, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he's a sound cuckoldish, man. Did Puff ever participate?
Nah, man. Nah, he stayed across the room. Like I said in my testimony, the closest he got to actual action, like it was one time, all this stuff, almost every session happened in the living room, but it was one specific one where we got moved to the bedroom, me and her. Mm-hmm. So in the bedroom, he's in a closer proximity because he's walking around the bed. And at some point, like almost at like the strip club, he took like a stack of hundreds and just threw it on the bed while we was, while me and her was having sex. And we both was like, what's going on? And he just was like, nah, I'm enjoying this shit. And, we just kept doing what we was doing.
Right.
Nah, yo, bro, making it rain on shorty while she getting whatever she getting done to her is insane. But y'all seen Cam fit? Like, Cam is stupid, man. Cam is crazy. But this is the reason, and I'm about to play this next clip, and this is what has people a little bit upset at Cam. I'm gonna keep it 100, man. When our favorite artists start to get into these spaces, you have to think about who they are and who they always was. Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, why don't they grow up and why don't they mature? But you have people who create content that's mature for you to watch them for that. Looking at Cameron's career, and I played some freestyles from when he was in his 20s. And like I said, you could go back through every time he had a beef with somebody, whether it was Hove, Nas, 50 Cent. He's always went too far with the bars. He's always said something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Somewhat of his personality is the reason why I think he plays such a good role in Paid in Full. Killer Season. You think of the type of artist he is, and then think about the type of person he is and how he talks. And he says something on here about like being from 40th and Punisher being from 39th. And I ain't gonna just regulate it to Harlem because it's just the way people talk on the block. I think that's what makes Cam's platform so unique is because it's really just block talk. It's a lot of times where I see him try to get like, not formal, but he tries to bring a little bit of that shit to the game where he can kind of speak in a tone or ask questions from a certain type of perspective where it looks like he's really asking the questions. But keep in mind that he a nigga from 40th and Lenox. You know what I mean? And if you let's say you from Pink Houses, ain't no difference. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you from 39th and Western. Salute to everybody I know from 39th and over there. You know what I mean? It ain't no difference. You know what I'm saying? No matter where you at, let's say you in Nice Town or wherever you at in the city. That's just how people talk on the block. And a lot of people getting up in arms about that, but it is what it is. I mean, this is Talk with Flea, but it is what it is. That's the name of the show with him and Mace. And y'all let me know what y'all think, but let's just watch this clip right quick.
How was that pussy though?
I mean, bro, even if it was fire.
Bro, was the pussy good, family? Let's stop with political shit. We was Harlem time, my nigga. You 39th Street on 40th. Was the pussy, how was that pussy, my nigga?
Bro, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I couldn't get there, bro.
Okay.
Like, I got a dude pacing back and forth, right, beating his joint, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My peripherals, my spider senses is wilding, you know what I'm saying? And especially when I found out it was Puff. When I found out it was Puff, it got all the way worse because
if you grew up in Harlem, if you grew up in that era, I can't validate it, but everybody knows there's rumors, right? There's rumors that he could be, interested in dudes. So the whole time I'm semi-paranoid. Like I wrote in my book, bro, for real. I got a hearing problem.
Right.
And sometimes when he would give her directions, I would hear like something completely different. Like he'll say, yo, I like the position you in. And I'm like, yo, did he just say I wish I could penetrate him? Like, I'm hearing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hearing, like, yo, hold up, wait, what did he just say? Like,
so basically, you never could get comfortable because. So let's just be clear and get the elephant out the room for the audience. You're not gay? You're saying?
Absolutely not. Bro.
Right.
Nah, man, this is crazy. Dude wrote a whole book about erectile dysfunction because of what he went through with Puff and Cassie and all of that, man. I'm just saying this. If y'all don't like Cam, just don't watch Cam. But y'all can't move Cam. Y'all can't stop Cam or whatever. You're not gonna stop Cam. You don't like him, so just keep it moving. And that's why I think about when it comes to all this content shit. These channels, these YouTube channels, are starting to replace a lot of television. You know what I'm saying? More people are starting to watch YouTube because they're getting their television off of YouTube as well. You know what I'm saying? So you picking and choosing which channels you like to watch. If you think you're gonna be offended by somebody, you possibly shouldn't watch their shit. And I think anybody that you think you're gonna be offended by, you know that you might be offended by. So just stay off their channel, man. This is I Do It Myself. I'm Wayno. For the ones that rock with me, know how we doing. For the ones that don't, eventually will. I catch y'all on the next one. Peace.